Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Y'all can just clap because you're supposed to do it when people come up. Okay? I just heard that's what you're supposed to do. And I'll start with Charles Edda and Charles Bouley, but let me tell you a little about me. I'm a hacker. It's what I do. So let me just say it how we say it. We hack shit. Okay, that's what we do. So our job is to come in and monitor systems. And when we monitor those systems, sometimes we may find that there is a sleeper in that system. There was a sleeper in Target. There was a sleeper in Equifax. There was a sleeper in TransUnion. There was a sleeper in Home Depot. And those sleepers waited for an inopportune time to search for something regarding your data, and they got it. The government's job, and corporations' job, is not necessarily to let you know that they have been hacked. That's what we call a courtesy. What their job is to do is to show that they have had due diligence and made an effort to stop from being hacked. Once they have shown the government, the FTC, that they made an effort not to be hacked, their job is done. You don't have to go into Home Depot. You don't have to go into Target. As a matter of fact, the sales are at Walmart. That is your responsibility. Here's how it works. Charles Edda and Charles Bouley, those are my grandparents who gave me the money to really start my own cybersecurity firm. Charles Edda is my grandmother. Charles Bouley is my grandfather. They gave me a certain amount of money, which most of it I spent on shoes. And the rest of it I started a corporation, Charles Edda and Charles Bouley. I have experience in hacking, I have experience in threat analysis, but my doctorate is generated in human performance. My job is to watch what you do on networks, and then anticipate what you're going to do. That's my job. Now, there's a new technology out called AI. It goes in and it's supposed to be a breathing network. It's supposed to be able to look at employees, find out what employees are doing, find out what corporations are doing, anyone that touches that network, and breathe life into that network and say, I know what they're going to do, go get them. They're supposed to be able to sniff that out. And I guess I would say that that's possible. Except that the best person to track down a human is a what? Is a human. That's going to be the biggest debate. Now, how many of you know, how many minutes do I have? 4 minutes, okay. How many of you know if you were hacked in the 2016 election, Dallas, Texas was hit pretty hard. That includes all the metropolitan areas around it. More than 4.8 million people's data was scrambled. And I'll tell you what they did, because I'm a hacker. They don't want your information. They just want to tweak your information. Or shall I say, we just want to. I want one of your social security numbers to be changed. I want your name to be spelled incorrectly. I just want to scramble the data so that when you go and vote, your credentials don't match up. Now you can say, well, I believe that I wasn't hacked, and I believe this philosophy and that philosophy. My job is to create doubt, to make you believe that you were not hacked. That's my job. That's what I get paid to do. I get paid to take your credit card, swipe it, and then do what with it? Put it back in your pocket. My job is to take 1 cent out of your account for the next year. Take that 1 cent, give it to South America, put 2 cents back in your account once a year, then take out 3 cents. How much money have I made? Well, that depends on how many people I've been doing it to. It's called money laundering. Did you know that 1 cent was missing? Probably didn't even miss it. How many pennies do we see on the ground just kick it? Charles Edda and Charles Bouley works with organizations. We do threat detection, other kinds of analysis on networks, but the bottom line, so that I can give you an impression of what I do, is that we hack shit. We find out why your system is weak. We find out how people got into your system, or we find ways to help you protect what's most important. If you just had one thing in your car that you could protect, what would it be? Just one thing in your car right now that you could protect. Just shout it out, because we're interactive. what would it be? Nothing? It's just going to drive off? Huh? Okay. 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 Anybody else? Okay. What about your purse? What about your wallet? Did anybody? So there's something in your car. There's a reason why you lock your car, folks. You don't want it to drive off. Let me tell you the most important thing on your car. Your VPN. If I know your name and your county, I know where your VPN is. Your VPN is the most exposed thing in your car. And once I have it, I can do so much shit because my job is to hack shit. My name is Dr. Raquel Levesque. If you need me, I am on LinkedIn. There are only 3 of us. I'm the pretty one. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Wait, you got to come back up here. Where are you going? I can't answer any questions about hacking shit. I don't know anything about hacking. Okay, don't put me on the spot like that. All right, here's Matt, and Matt is going to facilitate our Q&A. Matt Gabay, by the way, is our entrepreneurship coach, has a ton of experience. He's been contributing a lot to all of our presentation efforts here, and he is going to walk us through this next 14 minutes. Thank you again.
Thank you. Oh, I get 14 minutes. Okay, this is good. Okay.
Wow, I don't know if I can follow that. Excuse my voice today. Great job. And a lot of information. So do you then consult with individuals or companies or both, large, small? Kind of give us an idea of what your scope is.
Usually, if you Google our organization, if you click on a link, we know that you've Googled us, and we know that you clicked on us. So we reach out. We want to know what you're looking for. Most companies that look for us are already hacked. If they're not already hacked, then they have a suspicion that there's someone inside the organization doing some sort of malfeasance. When they get in contact with us, we do like a security assessment. We find out what their system architecture is, and then we go from there.
So it could be small, large, doesn't matter the size of your client.
We like to work with under 200 computers.
Okay.
So we move by computers. Once we establish how many computers are there, I pretty much know what kind of team I'm going to put together. I have a hacker with me at all times. It doesn't matter who else I have. There's usually 5 or 6 people, depending on what their specialty is, that travels with me wherever I go.
Okay, and then one last question before I open to the audience. Why did you get into this? Did you get hacked?
All right, so everybody gets hacked. If you think you don't, see me after this. I didn't get into this because I got hacked. I got into this because NASA closed down. My job was based on me graduating with my doctorate and entering into a program with NASA. And so with all of the information that the NASA people had, they had to have something to do with it. So they put most of us working and partnering with the Department of Defense, Department of Homeland Security to protect our infrastructure. And so that's how I kind of walked into it, got into it, went into a droning program, did some high security clearance things, and then found out that 98% of the people there are men. And I don't mind working on commission because I'm good. So my grandparents gave me some money.
Awesome. Well, great personality. Let's open it up. First question, Raj.
When you mentioned the car, you said VPN. Did you mean VIN?
Yes, I'm so sorry. Yes, I meant VIN.
right.
Thank you.
All right, just checking with that. Thank you so much.
You're wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out.
All right, I know your skills obviously exceed themselves, and you got a lot of confidence in what you do in your craft. But just out of curiosity, I know you're probably brand new in your business. Is that correct? Like, are you been around for like more than a year?
I've been around for about 7 or 8 years.
Okay.
The organization itself has been around for 4 years, but my clients and my clientele have been with me around 7 years.
Okay. With that being said, what is the perfect person that we can actually look for to actually refer to you? I know you said talking about people who has the suspicion of being hacked. Obviously, I work in IT as well. No one has a clue when they're hacked or not hacked. So what type of elements can we actually look for to that we can actually refer potential clients to you to actually resolve this issue?
In IT, you are what we call insider. You know that. So you get inside look at what others commonly don't see. So I think that your first line of defense is your manager, and then they take it from there. They know to look for people like us. We come in as an auditor, compliance, and policies instructor, or we come in because there has been a hack take place. So your first line of defense, as you know, you can't tell anyone that your organization that has been hacked. If that's something that you find out, if you have access to those networks, you are mandated to report that to your manager. If your manager and the board of directors feel as though that they have been and they have evidence of that, then they contact us. They have a certain standard line of sniffers, as you know, and firewalls.
Give me an idea of what you charge for an engagement, how long a normal engagement would last, if there's such a thing as normal.
So our standard rate is $35,000. And we are starting to work with small business owners, and we will come in and show you and teach you how to do a small scale security infrastructure. Some of the basics of what you need. That's going to run you $4,000. Here's why that's important, because you need a platform to be able to tell you as a regular person when something has happened, and then to tell you certain things will go on, certain triggers will happen if your platform does not pick up that you've been hacked. That means it's someone on the inside, and that means that I've taught you well, because I will teach you how to do that.
So I've known a couple of small business owners who've actually been hijacked, so ransomware, for example, and they've been charged between $2,500 and $5,000. Do you have a tool or something where they can go to on your site and perhaps a plug and play that'll monitor at all times?
So here's what happens with ransomware. I'm not ashamed to say that I'm 44 years old. I love it. And in the 80s, when the majority of black people were in the ghetto, there was this saying where a smash and grab job where you would smash the pawn shop, grab everything, and start running. What you would not do is go into the pawn shop. So what happens with ransomware, it's a smash and grab job. They are just looking to get what they can get. So when you get into two-step verification, which most platforms have, three-step verification, four-step verification, that's not going to happen. Ransomware and those kind of malwares only happen with smash and grab jobs, which means I could probably guess your password if it's less than 26 characters. So I would come in, yes, there are tools and apps to come alongside to retrieve that data or have a backup system for that data or their own server. That should not happen. It only happens if they have the bare minimum. That's a smash and grab job.
So I'm curious what the law says about business owners protecting their clients' information. What are they required to do in order to protect it?
All right. So your job is to show due diligence. My job is to show that you did not do the bare minimum. There should be some kind of disclaimer when particular individuals or clients go on your website that says copyright 20 such and such and such and such and such. There should be the bare minimum of a disclaimer at the very bottom, terms and conditions, things like that. That is your bare minimum. It is literally a page, an HTML page. This is free. But if I find out that my hack came from you, I will take you down. I will shut it down. So imagine what someone with no special interest will do if they find out that that hack came from you. They will expose your company, discredit your reputation, and you are down because you didn't create one page. 23 cents.
Do you operate just in the DFW area or anywhere?
We have 3 locations right now, and within those 3 locations, we're trying to go a little bit more global, and I'll share what I need from you to show you how we're going to do that.
So I have a few questions.
Yes, ma'am.
So just given the hack itself, and there could be so many different reasons for why an individual or a company might hack another company. So there's the fee, be it the $4,000 or the $35,000 for kind of going in and building an infrastructure. But what about the damage that's taking place? Like, what is your role in kind of correcting some of those issues that have resulted from the hack itself?
So there's, as long as you know that there was a hack, there can be a plan drawn to mitigate the damage through regular policies and procedures. These things are open source. These things are free for the small business owner. I'm talking bare minimum of what you need. Now, when you get into banking systems and things like that, and if somebody withdrew from your account, then we have to get that institution involved so that now your insurance kind of kicks in, which you probably don't know that you do have working with a bank. And then there's structure for that. However, in order to even mitigate, we've got to come in and see what the damage was. Let's say there's no damage, and you just say, you know what, I need some systems in place. The one thing you need to know is what is most important to you, then protect that. That's where we start.
And then for your client base itself, are you like particularly selective about who you might work with? I know you mentioned that you go by computer count, 200 or less, but is there a particular field that you focus on so that you can kind of maximize the specialties of your hacker crew?
Our hacker crew, I like that. I have a pool of about 128 people. And some things we will not touch with a hot tooth. There are some things that come into my system from the FBI and the Department of Defense and DISA that we know not to touch. We already know. When you contact us, we know what not to touch. We know what we have to report to the FBI. So there is a list of things that we don't touch. There's a list of things that come out that we do touch. We say, oh yeah, well, we can fix that. For example, 2 days ago, I got an FBI alert that Roku had been hacked. If you're cheap like me, you have a Roku, because I'm not gonna pay for that satellite stuff. So Roku, what happened is that there was a worm placed in the Roku, and it's hidden, and all you had to do was turn your computer on, and that worm was in your network at home, which means if you bank at home, they could possibly go in. If you do anything at home, whatever your structure is at home, if your security settings are in at home, depending on what they're looking for, they could go in. So Roku set out an announcement that this is what's happening and here's how to fix it. Now, how did any of you get that announcement? So Roku has a due diligence. If you have purchased a Roku and you get their newsletter, they sent you an update saying, hey, we've just changed our policies and procedures. Click here. And if you clicked, they just let you know. It was up to you to read it. If they sent you something saying, hey, we need to update your Roku, they created what's called a patch. You get them all the time. If you didn't click on that patch, they did their due diligence. You get hacked from South America, it's on you. They did their due diligence.
Thank you. Well, my last question before Matt comes and steals the microphone is this. Clearly, with all the people here in the audience, we have a ton of business owners, and we're all exposed, whether we're business owners or not.
I understand.
And so, we like to think that, we have Kaspersky and we have Norton and McAfee, and so we're protected against everything. Sure. Just put it on there. Sure. But that's not really true. So what can we do in the audience to kind of prepare ourselves for, hack notifications? Like is there a software that we should buy off the shelf if we don't have $4,000? What should we do?
So there's no off the shelf. There's no such thing as off the shelf. Every app has a due diligence to provide you with at least a security patch. To say, hey, here's a patch, click on it. You see it all the time. We're updating Google Maps. We're updating, what else? What other apps do you have? We're updating. What they're doing is they're providing you with patches because they found out there's an exposure in their system. That's their due diligence. Here's what I'm going to tell you that's just the bare minimum and free. I don't think you should go free because you get what you get. Download a VPN. Oh my gosh, download a VPN. $6.99 a month, you can have your own server. $6.99 a month, based in Switzerland, who has policies and procedures to stop these things from happening. There is just some bare minimal things you can do so that you don't grow up in the ghetto and become smash and grab. Do you understand? You understand? You are not the pawn shop.
All right, so our last question today is, what can we do for you to help you grow your business?
Okay, so what we're looking to do is have more of a global presence. It's going to happen eventually, whether we start in Afghanistan or Dubai. I have some clients in Dubai that I work with, and I'm up too much with that. So we want more of a global reach. We want to start in UK, and then we're going to move to Switzerland and have a location. But we are a small business, and I'm not looking to invest on a global setting. It's too many dollars, and I don't have the time. So how do you get that global exposure? That's why we're here. So we're doing a TED Talk, and I have been invited to come and do a, I don't know, what do you call it, an audition September 6th. However, even that, we need ideas on how to go global as a small business owner, and Facebook isn't going to get it, if you know what I mean. We're going to have to actually get on a plane and go and work with an organization in person. Now, how do we get there besides TED Talk?
Thank you very much. I appreciate your presentation.
Thank you.